The problem is that companies have become increasingly short-termist, increasingly spending their profits on financialized practices, which are just boosting their stock prices and not making these long-run committed investments in areas like research and development and human capital formation. And in fact, the whole venture capital model of funding these innovations, which we often hear we don't have enough of in Europe, is actually quite problematic, because all of these innovations actually took about 15 to 20 years to come about. And the venture capital model is one where the returns are sought after more of a 3 to 5 year cycle. What we really need is patient, long-term, committed finance. And what we find around the world, from Singapore, Korea, Brazil, and Silicon Valley, it's often been public funding agencies that have provided this patient finance. There's so much talk today about building innovation ecosystems. And if you know anything about biology, you'll know that ecosystems can be either symbiotic or parasitic. We used to have, in the 50s, 60s, and even the early 70s, companies like, say, AT&T, which had Bell Labs, or Xerox, which had Xerox PARC, big R&D labs that were co-investing with government in these big new opportunities. New opportunities which then created new technologies, which people like Steve Jobs were able then to use, mixed together in different ways, and create the iPhone. We've gone from having symbiotic public-private partnerships where the public and private sector were co-investing together into the big new opportunities of the future, into increasingly parasitic relationships where we are socializing the risk in different types of open innovation systems, but privatizing the reward. The kind of ecosystems we want are not just public-private partnerships where the government is simply de-risking the private sector or getting out of the way, taking out the red tape, getting rid of tax. It's actually building ecosystems, symbiotic ecosystems, where the public and private sectors co-invest in a dynamic setting and also share the rewards.